Hey everyone, ZenRyder here. Join me for a wheel ride on a Miramar Scripps adventure. Flyboy and I had to park off-site because parking was insane over at the lake. It's normally can be crowded on Saturdays, but this particular Saturday was beautiful out and everybody wanted to get out there and go around the lake. And we were meeting up with a couple other guys and wanted to join with them before heading out.
Hi guys, I'm AJ.
AJ, Zen.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Nice new V11, huh?
Nice to meet you.
Alright.
So this is ZenRyder and Mark. He used to live here.
Yep.
Alright, I think it's just going to be the four of us. Looks to be nice. It'll be a nice small group.
Cool.
Alright.
Cool.
Let's go.
Roll.
So we're starting out at the parking lot of the lake, and we'll cruise through that, and then we start heading around the lake. I don't know if you've ever been here, but it's mostly paved. There's a little off-road, but it's mostly really nice pavement going all the way around the lake. It really is a beautiful place, and I used to go jogging and biking around it, and when I worked real close by. But it's a beautiful lake. I guess they do fishing here too. I haven't done that, but it's a good place to start out a ride, that's for sure. I've never seen so many cars parked here. It just was ridiculous. It seemed like the mall at Christmas time. And so first we went ahead and took a side trail. For a while you can go around the bottom portion of the lake with the paved road up above. So we jumped on that just to do a little bit of off-road right off the bat. Then the trail comes and it merges right back up onto the main trail, the main path. And then we were going along with all the other runners and riders around the lake. It's about a 5-mile loop all the way around the lake. I've got a lot of good memories, and these are kind of there's a lot of fishing there, I guess. Some of the names are kind of funny. And I definitely remember running, going along, and of course it takes quite a bit longer running around there than it does on our EUCs as we kind of just glide along, enjoy the views. Sergio doing a little bit of seated riding there, which is why the seat's kind of nice. And AJ doing a little jumping and messing around. I like it. After going about around 3/4 of the way around the lake, we took a side trail to come on up, and it shoots right up past this little development and then drops us right onto, I believe it's Scripps Ranch Boulevard that we come out on here on top. But then we just kind of cruised down the hill. I think we stayed to the sidewalk, and then you connect up to this route that goes right along the I-15, and then we get into the dirt, and a lot of the rest is dirt trail. Kind of a nice view as you're cruising along with all the traffic. You're kind of elevated up above the highway, and this is a nice straight run going all the way. I don't know, what a good quarter mile all the way down along the highway. It's pretty smooth, kind of nice for some carving. But shortly after dropping into Penasquitos Canyon, we hit the trails, and there was some nice steep uphill stuff, and I didn't take video during that because I wanted having to walk through a couple of those spots, but that's where the steepest spots were. And then we kind of continued on the dirt trails, and they were pretty good. There were a couple technical parts, but for the most part it was pretty good. These little boards set for erosion made for a little bit of interesting climbing. Flyboy was nice enough to lend me this King Song 18XL, and you know, it handled pretty well. It wasn't the same as my MSX with the dirt tire, but it did admirably well. I was impressed. It has good range and it does pretty well. And we head up some kind of steep hills, and when we got to the top, it was kind of fun. Up here, we ran into a group of bikers, and a pretty good-sized group, actually.
Although I saw a video recently of someone jumping something like that.
Oh yeah,
It almost looks fake the way it did. I'm like, that's real.
Well, people take these to jump parks and jump 20 feet in the air. What?
Who makes those?
China. China.
That's not Segway or whatever.
No.
China.
They're all different. We all have different wheels. Yeah. They're all Chinese-based stuff.
That's nuts.
They're doing a good job, right?
I'm convinced I'd bust my head right away on one of those, but I think it's cool that they work on it.
They were pretty interested, but after seeing them, we went ahead and continued on, heading up around the backside of the industrial complex there on Scripps Poway Parkway. And there's a lot of neat trails there, though, and a lot of curves, some tunnels, and some other things as you'll see coming up. But some of it definitely single track, not all of it a wide cross-country type of trail. Definitely some rocks and a few other areas that will keep you on your toes. You know, I really enjoyed riding with these guys. AJ behind me there, he's only been riding like a month or two. And I think Sergio, who's in front of me, also, and he's got himself a brand new V11 there, and he's also got a Sherman. And that guy is putting on some hardcore miles, riding all the time. And so definitely it's exciting to see some of these newer riders in the sport and how fast and how well they're coming along. I always like these bridges and other features and kind of the variety of the landscape. If something's all flat and straight, kind of consider it boring, but we definitely had variety on this ride.
Those are fun.
Those are really fun. I'd love to see an F-18 off those.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the one we have always got it.
We continued along the trail, and then we went down along Scripps Poway Parkway on the side, and then came up, hit the high point there, and then started coming down the backside and through kind of this neighborhood. So you'll see as we're coming through here, this is still where we're staying on the off-road. It then gets kind of interesting in a couple of spots, like this one, where we're going through this long tunnel. It's crazy cool, and it had this thick gravel on the bottom, and man, it got thick. I thought it was going to go down. It was about 3 inches deep, or 4, and it was definitely hard to get some traction on that, but the tunnels, they added to the variety. I liked it. It was kind of cool. I'm glad Flyboy showed me this route because I'd been on parts of these trails but had never done this entire loop. Going up these hills, there are all these berms kind of going up, and it was fun going up hill on a wheel. Of course, you got lots of torque, and it's fun cruising up, and going over these berms was kind of a blast. San Diego temperatures were amazing on this ride. I mean, it was probably 80 degrees and just gorgeous. It's the kind of weather that makes it hard to leave San Diego. But a lot of fun ride. There's a water tower there on the back side. And now, as you see below, we cruise down, and there's a little bit of an industrial edge there, but after that, we kind of cruise through the neighborhood. I think it's Stonegate. So here we're swinging in the backside of this industrial complex. That up ahead is Scripps Poway Parkway. And as we come around the backside, we'll cruise through parking lots here then we'll connect up to the road. Nothing like some really smooth asphalt to cruise around. In this section, we come back onto the road here just long enough to take the crosswalk and cross over the Scripps Poway Parkway, and then we get back onto the trails. I'm not a big fan of the gravel trails because there's so much dirt and dust that flies around on them, but from here on down a large section, we've got some nice smooth paved streets thanks to the upscale neighborhood with all the homes that are worth like $1 million to $1.5 million each in this development right in Scripps Ranch. But we'll say thank you very much for giving us a nice paved roadway with about 0 traffic on it. Carving on a roadway like this is just pure joy. You feel yourself just sway and meet with the road. I think we hit high speed here along 29. Yeah, something like that. And then we cruise and we connect up to, I think it's Pomerado Road. And then we go along this dirt trail that I didn't even know was along Pomerado Road as we head back to the starting point. So 28 miles is a pretty good run. But if you've got to be on the streets, these are definitely the types that are nice to ride on. But this is part of the reason why I like a dual sport tire, because I want the grip on the off-road, but I also want to be able to have a pretty smooth ride when you are on the street. So it's kind of hard to do that. And that's why I upgraded the tire on my Sherman after I got back from this trip, because I had a street tire on there. I wanted to change over to the dual sport. Just that maneuverability of being able to ride on a street like this, or being able to jump into the off-road and feel comfortable and have it able to really give you the grip that you need. That's a great thing. Now Flyboy here is really in his element at this point in the dirt. And for me, we've been on the road for 2.5 hours and my legs were a little bit tired personally, so I wasn't feeling real adventurous about going on all these jumps with a borrowed wheel. So on some of those I took the easy out, but it's kind of fun watching Adam take off there and really get cruising. But this was a nice little trail that I had no idea, and I'd driven up and down this road for years, and I had no clue that this was even here. The other thing that Flyboy just happened to mention is that we probably don't want to fall off along this trail, because as you can see, if you look at the vegetation, the large things of cactus on either side, falling on this would be a nightmare, which added to the reason why I wanted to be a little bit more cautious. We stopped here and we met this gentleman walking his dog, and he was just the coolest guy ever, and he's a veteran, and he wound up telling us about the trail and how he had built it. One of the residents here. I just thought that was the coolest thing, meeting him, and here's a trail some guy built and we wound up using it. He was super happy that we were using it. He was really nice, really great guy. So we're down to the home stretch here before we make it back to the parking lot, and definitely hitting some rockier areas of the trail. This tire was a little thinner than mine, so sometimes the thinner tires make it those rocks, but it can definitely trip you up. Once we got back into the greenery of the Scripps area, all these eucalyptus trees just give you this gorgeous shade. Keeps you cool on a hot day, and it's a great place to ride. The shadows can make it a little tricky, especially when you're wearing sunglasses and things. I think that hit the tree there, of what roots and other things are below, but transitioned back, went through a park here. That was kind of fun. I've done a 5K race that ended up on this field before, a lot of people in it. Of course, these days it's pretty quiet even on a Saturday, surprisingly, but they had this cool little side trip here going through this tiny tunnel.
That sounded like I should walk.
You gonna try it, Mark? It's not as low as I thought it was. There you go.
Rocks at the end?
I went there last time.
Yeah. That was cool.
Oh, yeah. That was nice.
Well, right on, guys.
Take it easy.
Good riding today.
Yeah.
Zen, have a safe flight, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, that was totally fun. It was a great ride.
Oh, yeah, that was
Thanks for letting me ride the wheel.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed this video. Appreciate you joining with me. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you would.